Okay, well, welcome everybody. Thank you again for being here to learn more about hosting virtual parties for our Learners to Leaders event at Peace Community Center. I wanted to just start with some introductions of our development team and Peace Community staff. So I'll start. My name is Miranda Martins. I'm the Interim Development Director at Peace Community Center. This is my 4th year at the organization, and I'm just excited to work with you all on another Learners to Leaders event and make it a big success. I want to pass it over to our Executive Director of Peace Community Center, Denise Randall, to introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon. It is so good to see familiar and folks that are also familiar, but we haven't seen in a while. So thank you so much for joining us. And I'm just very excited to have both Miranda and Paulette to lead us through tonight and also through this Learners to Leaders event. So thank you for being past and present champions of this great work.
And I'll also invite Paulette Brown, our annual fund coordinator, to introduce herself.
Hello, hi, I'm Paulette Brown. I am the annual fund coordinator, new hire. I started in October. I'm really excited about working in the community that I grew up in. So cheers to that, and just excited to connecting with the board and other people that are a part of the Peace community. So thank you and welcome.
Welcome to you to the center. It's nice to meet you.
Yes, thank you.
So now we will dive into our agenda for the night. Today, we're going to go over, I'm going to walk us through a possible agenda for these virtual Learners to Leaders parties. And then Paulette is going to walk us through a brainstorming session for how we can make these parties fun and engaging for our guests. And then also looking at some of the templates that we've prepared to help you guys invite folks and spread the word about our event. So first, an overview of our Learners to Leaders platform for this year. We are doing a virtual live stream. That live stream is going to take place on March 18th at 4:00 p.m. The registration is live on our website right now. So you can send people to that registration page on our website. It's going to be continuing our tradition for Learners to Leaders of just showcasing student voices, getting as many student voices as we can. We have our students working hard on our speeches right now, from the elementary school level all the way to some of the alumni of our program. So it'll definitely still be a great live stream with student voice and hearing directly from students about the impact. So to complement these live streams, this is where the virtual party host idea came from, because we know that every year for Learners to Leaders, we've had a lot of great success when we get our network of supporters, which are all of you, to help spread the word and make direct solicitations and direct invitations to your friends and family to connect them to Learners to Leaders. And so we thought that these virtual parties would be a really great way to do that. Our goal this year, our fundraising goal, is $120,000. That's it. We're excited to be increasing our goal from previous years. In the past few years, our goal has been 100,000, but seeing just the great success that we've had, and as our organization continues to grow, we're very excited to be raising that fundraising goal and to just work together to continue growing. Out of that 120, that includes all of our great business sponsors, and if we secure our full matching gift, we did receive a matching gift. So all gifts of $200 or more will be matched up to $20,000 for Learners to Leaders. And then that match is also going to be included towards that 120 goal. So we have really great foundation for Learners to Leaders this year. And in terms of our actual breakdown of how we're going to get to that 120, I mentioned sponsorships in the match, but then with these parties, we're really hoping to see from our network of supporters who are going to be reaching out to their friends and family. Collectively, we're hoping to raise $30,000 specifically from these parties, and that will include your own personal gifts as well. But so starting through this Learners to Leaders campaign between March 1st and March 18th, you'll see some emails from me just with sharing progress updates. And so so this group here is all working directly towards that $30,000 goal. And I'll be sharing updates as far as we go along. So in terms of what it's going to look like to support learners to leaders, it'll be a pretty similar format from last year, but we're really narrowing it down to 3 different ways to support learners to leaders. One is to host a virtual party with your friends and family between March 1st and March 18th. The second way is to invite your friends and family to attend the live stream on March 18th. And then the third way is to invite your friends and family to make a special gift for learners to leaders to Peace Community Center. So out of those 3 ways to support, we're going to go over all of them today, but we're going to spend the most time on that first one of hosting virtual parties. All of our board members have agreed to host parties, these virtual parties, and so we're going to want to make sure that everyone's prepared. And then we have some additional community members hosting parties too that we're really grateful for. All of these tasks between the 3 ways of supporting, all of them are incredibly impactful towards our fundraising goal, ultimately impacting our scholars and ensuring the continuation of our Hilltop Scholars programs and services to our scholars. So let me pull up the agenda. This is what I wanted to share my screen to. Our team has prepared a potential agenda for these virtual party hosts, like in terms of what the parties could actually look like. And so I'm hoping we'll use this time to walk through it, and that way you can kind of start visualizing what these parties can look like. This is just a proposed agenda. Of course, you can make your party look however you want, and you can definitely make changes to this, but this is just one idea that we thought would be a good starting point. So let me pull this up. Okay, can you all see this? Perfect. Okay, I got a thumbs up. So I'm going to be sending this out in an email follow-up with this recording of the session tomorrow. So you'll have access to this very document so you can edit it and make it your own. This first part just summarizes kind of what I went over. So in terms of hosting your virtual party, we brainstormed an agenda. We thought your party can start with an opening section, just kind of welcoming your guests, thanking them again for attending your virtual party. And then also just briefly going over the purpose of your party. This can be really whatever the purpose is to you, but we kind of thought that the purpose would be to be in community with each other, to connect over common interests, to share more about Peace Community Center, to raise funds for Peace Community Center to continue their work with scholars. So however you want to communicate that with your guests, it's good to just set the ground and set the scene for at the beginning of your party. Then we can move into guest introductions. Since this is a party and you may be inviting people from different areas of your life, it would be nice to have everybody share their name, maybe if they're already connected to Peace Community Center, since we've had supporters support this event for so many years now. They might want to share that and share how familiar they are with Peace. And then since you're the party host, you might want them to introduce their connection to you, whether they're a coworker or a family member. But yeah, I'll just go over general introductions and have each of your guests introduce themselves. Then you can move into sharing a brief overview about Peace's services. So here I've put a brainstormed list of the main points of our programs, but if you have a different understanding of what Peace Community Center is, really this is just your time to share what you know about Peace Community Center. I'm happy to provide more information, but things that you could share are things like Peace provides a pathway of services serving Hilltop youth from 2nd grade to college and career. All scholars at Peace have an academic coach that they meet with regularly to talk about their specific personal and academic challenges. During Peace's after-school programs, the scholars have access to tutoring and homework help, STEAM enrichment activities, lessons on social emotional learning to better understand their emotions, and leadership development activities. This is just kind of what it is we're actually doing at Peace Community Center at our after-school program, so it's good to list that out. Each program has academic goals based on their level in school, like for reading, like reading levels in elementary school, math comprehension for in middle school, GPA in high school, and then high school graduation rates. You don't have to get too bogged down in the data. I'm happy to share that data with you, but just kind of indicating that we have academic goals that we're trying to reach with our students. In terms of numbers, our goal is to serve 330 scholars this school year between 2021 and 2022, and we are on track to do so. So you can share that that's how many students will be served. Peace has offered academic support programs in the Hilltop for 21 years. I think all of you actually were around last year during our 20th anniversary, and so some of your guests might remember some of that messaging. This is our 21st year, and that just kind of shows that we've been in the neighborhood and speaks to our history. Since it's a virtual platform, if you want to have a visual, you could pull up our website. I put the link in here, and you're able to pull it up so that the guests can see some of our students and just see some more information on our website there. And lastly, yeah, just feel free to share anything else you know and love about Peace Community Center. Everyone in this room has been connected to Peace for so many years now. So you might have special anecdotes that you want to share about what you like about Peace Community Center, or things that you know about our services that you think are impactful. Then to have your guests hear directly from our scholars, which is an impactful way for them to really hear the impact. We recommend watching a video with your guests. These are links to our YouTube page. You can really watch any video on our YouTube page, but these are just 3 that our team pulled out as being really impactful and good summaries of our services. So we have a 20th anniversary alumni video that we made last year. If you think your guests would like hearing specifically from alumni, there's the link there. We also have a Mia's impact video, which her story specifically focuses on mentorship and career guidance using the transition between senior year and college. And this YouTube video shares more about her story. And then the last one we wanted to highlight was Anancia's impact video. Her story is specifically about academic growth and family engagement. So whatever you think your guests would be most interested, honestly, you could watch them all if you're interested, but you can take a look at them ahead of time and just see which one you think your guests would be interested in watching. So then lastly, this is where it gets to the personal connection part. After you've shared a little bit about Peace Community Center, you've watched a video to hear directly from our students, now you can share your personal connection to Peace Community Center. And I listed some questions here to help you reflect on your connection to Peace. This is something you do in advance, and you don't have to share all of this, but if there's certain reflection questions that speak best to you that you'd feel comfortable sharing with your guests, things like, of course, how long have you been connected to Peace and in what capacity? But there's more personal ones like, why did you choose to get involved in Peace? What is your personal connection to the Hilltop neighborhood, education, or youth and youth development? How does it feel to be a part of the work at Peace? How have your perspectives changed or grown since your involvement at Peace Community Center? So, and then these last 2 are important to just reflect on and share with your guests. Why do you personally choose to make financial contributions to Peace? And then what do you hope the future of our center will look like? And what do you hope for the future of our scholars? So again, just kind of spend some time in advance thinking through how you'll word this section, and if there's certain anecdotes or certain connection pieces that you want to share with your guests. I hope these reflection questions will help you just kind of craft that section and make it personal and meaningful, because this is the section that will come right before you ask for support. This is the fundraising section. So after you share your own personal connection to Peace and why you choose to give financially, then you'll move on to asking your guests to make a financial gift to Peace Community Center. And you can do this a number of ways. So I know that a couple of you are planning on hosting parties right before the live stream. If you wanted to do it either like an hour or even 30 minutes right before the live stream on March 18th, then you would use this section either to give them time to make their gifts or prepare them to make a gift during the live stream, if you wanted them to hear more and like see what we have prepared. So you can just say that at the end of this live stream, you'll be prompted to make a gift. And so reflect on everything you've heard about our scholars and make a gift that's meaningful to you during the time of the live stream. But you might also choose to actually use this as a designated time for your guests to make a gift. This might work best if your virtual party is not right before the live stream, because again, we're looking for these parties to be hosted anytime between March 1st and March 18th. And so if it's a week before the live stream, but you want to build on the momentum of the party and everything that you've shared and the conversations that you've had with your guests, it would be best to leave time in the party to make a gift. And this can be done in a couple of ways. You can share this link with them. This is the link to our online giving page, so they can give directly. But if your guests would prefer to mail in a check, that's totally fine too. And you can leave some time for them to write their check, find their checkbook. They'll all be at home. So maybe that's a great use of this time. But then here's our address that you'll send that check to. And then ultimately, you'll end the party by thanking your guests for their contributions to peace and reminding them that their gifts are going to really quality academic services. This is the mentorship, academic growth, and leadership development for scholars in our Hilltop community. That is a run through of a suggested virtual party. We intentionally kept it short. I gave suggested time allotments. You'll see that this Peace Community Center section is really only about a half hour. And we did that intentionally so that you can use the rest of your time together in a way that you think would be fun with your guests. So any of these times you could go on to having a larger conversation about peace. Excuse me. But we just really wanted to give you the flexibility to use your time with your guests however you think is best. So that is the run through of the agenda. Quick notes before I move on to question and answer about the agenda. Things to keep in mind. As a suggested guest count, we'd love to see this similar to as if you were hosting a table at Peace Community Center for a live dinner. So a suggested guest count for invitation list might be 10 guests. Really with Zoom, the benefit is you can invite really however many guests as you want. It can be more than 10, however many you think would be the right number for you and your community to be able to connect with one another. If you are, okay, so this next point to remember, please let me know by February 11th, that is tomorrow, when your party will be. This is gonna help us prepare anything that you need. So like if you need a Zoom link, we can be prepared to provide it. If there's any additional materials that you would like, we can make sure that that happens. Board members were aware of this February 11th date with a more advanced notice. And so if you do need more time to plan out your party and get back to me, if you're just weren't expecting that, that's okay. But just let me know, maybe within the next week or so. Board members tomorrow, please. But then if this is the first time you're hearing that deadline, just let me know when you have that information prepared. So that way we can be prepared to support you however you need it. The last thing to keep in mind is when your guests make gifts, please let them know to make a note that you're the one that invited them to make that gift. Our online giving page has a question now added, prompting them, asking them who invited them to make this gift to Peace Community Center. So then in that case, they put your name. But if they're sending in a check, then if you could have them just make a note on it or maybe put it in the memo line, that's going to help us predict fundraising for future learners to leaders, and being able to just kind of connect back and look at the data and make educated plans for future events. Now, I know that that was a lot of information about learners to leaders and virtual parties. Before we move on to the section that Paulette has provided, I'd love to answer any questions on this specifically with the virtual party component. Yeah, go ahead, Craig.
So it sounds like we, that we'll need a Zoom link. I will certainly need a Zoom link. And is there, would there be an opportunity to do a dry run with someone from Peace Community Center? I mean, like a 5-minute dry run to make sure that the videos work and all of that on the screen sharing. We've recently updated our router and our modem because I was having lots of problems with Zoom, but things seem to be okay now. But I just want to make sure there's enough bandwidth to do the videos and everything as well without shutting people out.
Definitely. We can definitely provide the Zoom link, and then also, sorry, I'm taking some notes here. We can definitely do a run through. How about you and I email and schedule a time for that in the next couple of weeks? And
Sounds good.
Okay, we can practice that.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I'm excited about the possible agenda. I think that's really, maybe it was there last year and I've forgotten, but I think that's just really helpful.
Good, good. I'm so glad. We tried to think of what you might be needing or what you might be thinking through. So we tried to at least give an example. So thank you. I'm glad that's helpful.
This is kind of a logistical question, but probably important for you as development since it's virtual. Do you want like a guest list from us or something like that? Because usually there's kind of a natural spot when it's in person. Do you want that in advance or afterwards or like something like that?
That's a really great question. If you're able to host your own Zoom session, then we will not need a guest list. But if it's a guest list where we'll be hosting the Zoom and like providing a link and being a moderator, then yes, please do send us a guest list, because that way we can make sure that people are there who are supposed to be there, or like if we're doing breakout sessions. I know that came up last year when we had multiple parties going on at the same time. We needed to know who was going to which party. So if we're providing the link, please do share a guest list. Okay, well, we'll do question and answers again at the end, so feel free to hold your questions, or there will be another chance to get your questions answered. But now I would love to pass it on to our annual fund coordinator, Paulette, who will guide us through the next section of today.
Yes, let me minimize my screen a little bit there. Marina, did you want to share the template, or do I have sharing capabilities right now?
Ooh, great question. Let me make sure you can share. Sorry, I should have done this at the beginning of it. Yeah, okay, go ahead. It should be ready now.
Okay, let me get here. It's actually this one. Oops. Great. Sorry, I can't see this thing is in the way, so let me just stop right now and get these off of here. Thanks for the welcoming too, you guys. I really appreciate that. Let's see, template. There we go. Let's close that one. Okay. Do you just see part of it right now?
Yeah.
This thing's in the way.
If it's easier, I don't mind sharing it.
Yeah, it's this bar is at the top and I can't get it to get out the way, but that's fine. I can follow in front. I just want them to be able to see what I am talking about this afternoon. So let me see. I'll stop sharing so you can. All right, yeah, so this is my first Learners to Leaders event, not my first fundraiser, but my first fundraiser working with kids and youth and education on the Hilltop. So I instantly gravitated to the opportunity to expand on celebrating academic achievements, and what a way to do it with using and utilizing the people that have been here for 20 plus years, right? That know the stories that have actually interacted with the youth. So this right here is our part one for inviting, oh wait, the email template, that's where we're going right here. We have the event time and everything that Miranda just covered. And this script will just help you or mold you to the type of guests that you are inviting to the virtual event. You might want to change it up a little bit, and I could just read it through. I can put my glasses on too, but I'm starting with a personal greeting, and something that always makes sense to me when you're having your personal greeting is making your purpose and making it personal. And that is an instant gratification to I'm interested in why it's personal to you and why I'm taking the time to have this party with you. So I think that's a thing to remember, just when you're making that statement, when you're making your purpose, try to find something personal to connect. Go to this right here. Okay, so going down a little bit further, we have the date and time and everything. And the biggest thing, if you scroll up a little bit, seeing that goal that Miranda just talked about in the match is also a big part of engaging people and donors to support. Having a celebration gift and a matching gift always inspires people to make that match, right? So making that a big part of your email template as you send it out. I usually like do bold or highlight so that those little things can stick out. So those are just like little tools that will help when you do send out your email. And also down here is the date or the live stream link for the date. And then remember, Miranda said it is for the 1st through the 18th. For the live stream event, I would like to have a big community event where we're all involved and we're celebrating our leaders, right? We're celebrating our future leaders. So I'll scroll down just a little bit more. Thank you, Miranda. Make a special Learners to Leaders gift to Peace here. And so we have, if you guys haven't seen already, the link where they can make their personal gift, or of course they could send a check to Peace Community Center right here. And you scroll down and it just says, I'm reaching out to you with this request because I know you would support Peace's mission of empowering future success for students and families in the Hilltop neighborhood. I would be happy to share more about why I personally support Peace and believe their programs are a worthwhile investment in the next generation of community leaders. So that part I wanted to just bring up because that is like the full connection, right? We're talking about the Hilltop, talking about the scholars, we're talking about next generation of leaders. So including that, and like I said, including maybe some highlights or some bold italics, or even molding it and creating it in a way that whoever you're communicating to can really grasp onto that message. And then of course, thank you for your support. So now we have our phone script ideas, and that's a different way about going to before we go into the script, but you guys could kind of skim over it now with the date and time. I think this is another way that we're reaching out and we're molding to what audience we are reaching out to, correct, right? If we are reaching out to coworkers, say we wanted to have an education leaders watch party, right? So you're using languages, of course, languages and tools to cultivate and gather all your educators together. For family and friends, it's different. For church members, it's different. So I would just say, just be aware of that once you do mold your own script ideas, and using this as the base, the blueprint for that. And then going down, explaining to them that if you can't do the actual watch party or the video party that you guys are initiating, reiterating that this is a big community event. This is what I've been expressing to businesses on the Hilltop. Let's celebrate our scholars. So even if they're checking in for a little bit, need to check in, they can see the interaction, or checking out one of our student speeches, put that in there, make that known. This last part I'm gonna read out. I can send you the link to my personal virtual party and the link to make a gift to Peace Community Center online. If you prefer mail, you could send a check to Peace Community Center. Making sure we're always gracious and grateful for whatever gift it is. I know I had an idea about inviting people to your watch party and having a quantity of, okay, I'm going to invite 10 people and each person has to give $25. And that's just setting your own rules, because of course that's your own virtual party. And it's just little things like that that keep them engaged, keep them wanting to be more, reach out more, share more. Because now when they're understanding your personal connection, and by you making your statement personal, it's now personal to them because you're in their network, right? And so now if it's personal to you, it's gonna be personal to them. And that is a great ripple effect that we like to see in fundraising. Part 2, inviting guests to Peace's live stream and make an event. This is an example here. Let me see, there was a part. Yeah, so the second paragraph, during the live stream event, we would hear from the current Hilltop scholars and alumni. I just wanted to make a note that if you happen to have a connection with the scholars or alumni that have been selected, it wouldn't hurt to mention it and make that your personal connection too. Like, oh yeah, I remember such and such from tutoring, or whatever that connection may be. I'll finish reading in. Raise funds to Peace to continue offering quality academic growth opportunities, which is a big part too. This is about quality and opportunity and pathways, right? A big thing that I was learning, just soaking up what I know about Peace before I came here and what I know now, it is highly celebrated. Students are very highly celebrated. And I don't want that to be missed. I don't want this to seem like, okay, this is just a fundraising event. No, we are celebrating our scholars on the Hilltop, despite all of the other things that are going on, but they're still maintaining, between the pandemic, between displacement, between the rise of homelessness, especially in this neighborhood, they are still pushing through really strong. So let's keep that in mind too, as we continue to recruit people to join a community event, like not a fundraiser event, but this is a celebratory community event. Okay, if you're unable to attend Peace's live stream on the 18th, I hope you will consider joining me in making an impactful financial contribution. I believe that a gift of Peace Community Center is a caring and impactful way to make a difference for students and families here in our local community. For this celebration, gifts of $200 or more will be matched. And that's what I was bringing up before, letting them know what our goal is. So everybody likes the goal, everybody likes to check the box, right? We made it, we did it. And then just knowing that if we get these gifts over 200, they will be matched for up to $20,000, which is amazing, right? Another thing I just wanted to mention too is just, of course, including the history. Been here for 21 years, that's a long time to serve our youth, to serve the youth from 21 years ago. They have families now, right? Now they have little ones who are becoming empowered leaders. So that's really great to bring up and highlight as well. We have the link here where you can register, make a special learners to leaders gift, as well. Turn this down. And then just wrapping up, like I said, molding what you would like to say according to your audience. Like I said, it might be your colleagues from work, or it might be your church members, or it might be your family members. My family members are really silly, so I could kind of loosen up around my family. But if I was doing it, suppose with my congregation in Seattle, I probably wouldn't be as open as I would be with my family members, of course. And that's just giving an example of how you can really mold your party, your virtual party. I don't know if any of you guys have experienced or participated in a watch party before, but it's really fun. We've watched movies, especially when everything happened in 2020 and we couldn't go anywhere. That was something that was really brought out, and which probably hints is why you guys are having, or why we are having, a virtual live stream. Let's see here, the phone script ideas. Things like COVID and social media connection has really rise exponentially, right, over the past 2 years. And so we want to use that as a tool so we can still recruit and outreach to community members who have known about peace, but also, there's a plane flying past me, but also reaching out to potential new members, to potential community members who may have heard about peace or may not have heard of peace, but these are ways that we can get them connected besides just having a watch party. They can look at YouTube Live, or they can look at other links that we have. They can check out our social media page. If I was doing a watch party for a youth group that I lead, that I would move to doing a lot of things on YouTube, social media, hashtagging, things like that, of that sort. So, like I said, just really identifying the community and your audience that you are serving. Let's go on. Thank you, Miranda. So let me see. Oh, and there it is right there. So social media post text, you're invited to Peace Community Center Annual Learners to Leaders event. We're having a live stream event on March 18th at 4 o'clock to uplift the successes of our current Hilltop scholars. So these messages are repetitive, but they're consistent in a routine. For social media posts are usually short, something really catchy that, they say the average person looks at a post for 7 seconds, right, for a media post, but with a phone call, it's more engaging. With the email, you're actually reading it. So just knowing that adjustment will be great for that. And then also making sure that you have your links on all 3 ways, especially with social media post text, to make the gift online. As an effort for me becoming the annual fund coordinator, I wanted to see more donations happening online, and especially since everyone carries a phone, increasing those numbers too, making ourselves more visible, since our phones are visible. Our phones are with us all the time. It's become a part of us in some ways. So just making that and reiterating that social media is also another type of way to reach out to your audience and recruit for your virtual party. Let's see here. All right. So I did the walkthrough for that on the phone script. Before I move on to the next section, do you guys have any questions or concerns or comments, ideas that you would like to share amongst our community this evening?
Just a quick comment. This is John. In our case, we're going to try to host an event that's going to be prior to the actual live stream, and have people at our house, and then do the introductory stuff you'd have on the virtual meeting prior to that, and leading up to the live stream coming through as being the kind of the program. And that follows the model, of course, of what an actual Learners to Leaders dinner is like, where the gift comes after you see that. Because that's often inspiring and interesting and fun, because the kids that speak usually do such a good job. I understand from the standpoint of having to send out emails, and a lot of folks may not be at the live stream. You have to kind of ask for the gift, give them an opportunity for the gift almost right away. But that bothers me a little bit, because you could say, yeah, I'll give you $25. Then you see the video and you're going, wow, that's great. And then you walk away and don't do more. I don't know if there's any way at all for you to arrange it in such a way that there's opportunities afterwards for a second gift if they've already made one early after they've seen the video, or organize it in such a way that you get to see it before you ask for the order, because I think that it's more powerful that way. But I understand the problem. Folks are busy and we may only get them on the phone or on an email 10 days before the event, and we got to take the chance to get at it. But I mean, we're running ours in that way because I think it's more effective to have the video come and be excited about that story. And in our case, we're going to have the same kind of a social time before that we would normally have at a table at the event with the people who are coming to the house. And so, I know a lot of our guests who come for many years at our table or tables enjoy meeting with each other and talking back and forth. And part of the event is seeing people every year at the table and then making a gift together. So we're going to try to recreate that as much as possible. But we're trying to figure out some way to kind of piggyback on the energy that comes from the video. And if there's a way to incorporate that in some way, or to offer opportunities for folks who've seen the video after they made a gift earlier to do even more later. I'm not sure if that's possible technologically or not, but that's my comment, thinking about kind of how it's going to be put together. I would like to do a run through, Miranda, too, in some way with the YouTube things to make sure it's going to work okay on our the Zoom thing, that we'll do on the YouTube channel on our TV here. So,
John, how many people were you thinking maybe will meet in person?
Well, we're trying to decide that guest list because we have a little bit of a problem with parking here at our location, but we might be able to get 10 people here. Maybe it's kind of hard, maybe 12. It's kind of hard to say. If we can get a few folks to pick each other up on the way over here, then we could get more folks without having to worry about the parking. And we may pick up some folks on our way too before they and take them home later. So we have 2 tables at the event. So
okay. Is anyone else planning to meet with folks in person?
I'm not sure yet. Possibly.
All these folks are vaccinated and boosted, so.
Okay, yeah, no, the reason I wanted to ask before I said my response to John. So if I would love for your folks to leave with something, and the same for you, Tori. So Miranda, I think we can order some coffee cups, some peace mugs, and get those to John and Tori ahead of time so that they can depart with those. We also have some magnets downstairs. Now, everyone else said no. So, and if you're watching this video, that's capacity. But John, we'll work to get you some mugs, because since y'all are meeting in person, I think, replicating that in-person event, I would love for them to leave with, we typically like to give a gift. And so I think we can get some coffee mugs in time. And everyone else, we actually have a plethora of peace magnets with our information that we could give you all as well to put on your refrigerator. So Miranda, those in the basement, we haven't used those yet, so we can incorporate those. But John, we'll work to get those to you. Okay. Thank you for meeting in person. That's awesome.
Or I could run by and pick them up sometime too. I'm not that far away now, so.
Let's see, that was a good lead up to the next option for having your party, and if you are meeting with someone at your home. But other options for connecting with guests. Here are some examples. You can hand out physical event invitations to your guests with personalized handwritten notes, maybe. Let us know how many you want, and we can mail them to you if you would like. We just been printing out our invitations, and I did just want to show you the nice logo. You can probably see it or not, but yeah, so we're just getting that done. So if you would like some invitations where you could send out to people to visit our live stream, or just have your virtual party, if it's in-house or if it's virtually, we'll be more than happy to do that, and I could send that to you. Another thing is dropping off treats and goodie bags and other things that just show trinkets of our appreciation for you having the party there. And as Denise said as well, we have some items here. So if you would like some, I could put some stuff together, and we could arrange for it to pick up before your event as well. Also, have some sort of activity to do together virtually. This is another thing for a tool that will help engage your audience as well. Looking at who your audience is too, but what type of activities you guys would like to do. And I thought maybe we could brainstorm about it a little bit, but I see we're almost at 5 o'clock, but I just wanted to put that in your head. If you have some kind of community engagement, social engagement thing that you can do virtually, since we've been learning so many things to connect virtually, please use that. Use that as a tool, because I guarantee you it will help out too. Let's see. So yeah, so now we are actually going to open up the conversation with some brainstorming ideas. I was thinking about all kinds of things when Miranda brought this to me and was writing it down. I said, oh, let me hear from those who have been there in the past, like Johnny told me how it was for you last year, and just hearing even something from a story or a scenario from someone who had a virtual party where they didn't have guests, just to get a feel and maybe give others a feel of what to expect. Anyone?
I did a little cocktail box delivery last year that ended up being, it was a pain to get myself to plan it. Once I actually did it, it was, I'm really glad I did that kind of extra piece for me, just to have something to deliver. And I think it made the day feel special, because learners to leaders, I mean, not that it's not special like virtually, but usually it's, you dress up a little and you go, and it just made it I think I wanted something to make it feel special a little bit. And for me, maybe even one thing that I do remember, I think I was telling a couple folks this, and I think maybe Denise was there. I was a little surprised, just, Paulette, hi, welcome to Peace, by the way. I hadn't think I'd actually met you yet. So hello, thank you for being here. And all of, I had you, Paulette, you were talking about kind of bringing different, keeping in mind who you're talking to, and there's different groups of people. And I brought people together from different groups. And I remember being surprised that people weren't necessarily open to sharing, like they just kind of wanted to sit and get.
Sure.
So that was just something I've been like thinking. I just wasn't prepared for that. I kind of had activities, and so that was just something that was on my mind.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that, because that is really important. Like I said, an example is if I was having a watch party with a bunch of teenagers, and I would just switch it up all the way, it would be a whole lot of hashtagging going on, or whatever it is that they do. But I would make sure that I'm cultivating so they're understanding the purpose and their way that they understand the world, right? In a way that they're comfortable. And then also you bringing up to kind of this classy gift that you're giving, since we're missing out on our dinner. I was excited too. I was like, oh, we get to have a dinner, but things change and we progress and we shift for that. But I like the idea of just having those type of gifts, just acknowledgement and saying thank you. And it's not because you're giving money, it's just because you actually listened to our scholar's speech and you took it in and you absorbed it. That means a lot, so thank you, Rebecca. Yeah.
I attended an event a few months, maybe in the summer, where we did a high tea virtual, and we decorated a hat, a high tea hat, and you wore it on screen virtually. And it was actually a lot of fun to see how creative people got with their hats. Everyone was looking forward to hearing the stories behind them. So I think I'm going to take that idea and incorporate that in like an executive leadership, women's kind of gathering. Many of us have not connected virtually or in person necessarily. And so I think it'll be a great way to hopefully help break the ice, to Rebecca's point of having some level of conversation. And then, obviously stating the intention of our time together, and then transitioning, but, in this kind of elegant high tea event. So that's,
I really like that. That's awesome.
That I'm planning to roll out with.
Yeah, I like that. Any other ideas for brainstorming, just to keep the engagement? Like we don't, we don't want them to miss out, right? We don't want them to miss out, but we also don't want to miss out on each other. And we complement each other. These people that we're inviting to our virtual party, they're a part of us, they complement us, which complements Peace Community Center. So just brainstorm on that a little more as you build your guest list, and thinking about those things that could really knit them all together. I've thought about competitions, having teams who, when you're doing fundraisers for tables, like I would do a dessert auction and that would go crazy. I would sell cheesecakes for $300, but it was just the camaraderie of everyone getting together at this table as this team, and we want to win, we want to support. And so that just kicks it up a notch as far as the engagement part, the fun part. And then I also wanted to talk about how will you invite your people to participate? What tools, what ways are you going to use to invite your guests, invite the people that you want to learn more about empowering future leaders for our L2L event?
I've always called on the phone to people.
Phone, okay.
It always works better and there's more of an engagement and ownership for me anyway. And you can have a few moments to share about why it's important, and looking forward to seeing them again, and looking forward to seeing other people who are at the table will be coming to the event, whatever. One thing that we probably can't reproduce, but it's always fun about the dinner. Every time I went to a dinner, I would see someone I didn't know was a supporter of Peace already, that I had known in another setting. And I'd see them when you're just in the welcoming time, when you're walking around with drinks at the beginning, you go, oh, I didn't know you were helping Peace. And they go, yeah, I've been doing it for 12 years. So that's so great. I'm on the board. And we had nice conversations, and you'd be surprised. Is there, and that's probably not easy to do, is there any way to make a list of who's coming to the virtual ones for everybody else to see, so they could go, oh, and they could call them up and say, thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up.
Like a virtual guest list or something like that? I didn't know this.
Is that something that's a problem with the person with privacy or stuff or not? I don't know. It would be fun to kind of do that, because I would be happy to make a phone call or an email to folks I saw on the list who I said, I'm so glad you were on the call, and I'm glad you could be involved, and I'm looking forward to seeing you the next time we can do it in person. And sorry I missed you because we weren't in person this year, but we're looking forward to it sooner. I mean, that sort of connection is so powerful. And I remember in the early days, we first had just the breakfast and stuff, and then we got more people together, and people were surprised at how many folks showed up at these events. They thought they were just part of a small group helping. And when you found out they're part of a much bigger group, they felt empowered. And so we missed that by not having an event with a crowd. And so some way we could replicate that would be fun. And we could also thank each other for showing up. After the fact.
Thank you, John.
My first response is that I don't see anything wrong with sharing the guest list privately. I'll think through it some more, and maybe we'll talk about it as our team to see if any other reasons why we might not want to do that come up. But it's super easy for us to pull a list of everyone who's registered. So tentatively, yes, but we can reconnect about that.
Right. So
good idea.
I will say one thing that I was thinking about. I hadn't shared this with you, Miranda, because I wasn't really sure how folks would feel about this. But one thing that I was thinking is, like, if we took screenshots of our Zoom meetings and all the attendees, but then it was, where do we share it? Like if it was part of the kind of pictures before the event happens. But I wasn't sure if folks would feel comfortable with that. But I thought that could be one fun way to be able to say, like, oh, so-and-so was at, this person's live stream event, or, pre-recorded event.
I think there's something to that, because the more connections you make across groups, the better. And just encourages everybody to be more involved.
That's great. Go ahead, Miranda.
I was just going to say, we're coming up to the end of this session. We have about 4 minutes left, and I want to be mindful of time. Just leaving the last few minutes for any additional questions or responses to anything we've covered today.
I do have one question. So for people coming to a virtual party, do they register so that you have them on the list, or is it just on our list and then we would provide that to you?
It'll be through your own personal way of keeping track of your guests who are coming. I guess that goes back to Tim's question earlier about if we're the ones that are going to be providing the Zoom link and facilitating it, then we'll need a guest list. But in terms of just registration, as guests confirm with you, you can keep track of that separately.
Yeah, because I was thinking if folks wanted to know how much their virtual event fundraised, you can reach out to us with that list of folks that you have, and we'd be able to, I believe, is that information we share, Miranda? Hopefully I'm not. It wouldn't be like maybe individual, but like as your whole virtual events. Okay.
We'll have that information, especially as you're reminding your guests to answer that question of who invited you to make this gift. We can then pull a list of everyone who put your name down for inviting that person to make a list, and then give you an overall total of how much your party has raised.
Also, if they are interested in knowing the results too, they're still welcome to register virtually, since we are sending the link to you guys, so you can forward that to them in the email, and they're welcome to register too. And that way they're part of the Peace community already, and so they'll get the updates as well. So
that's true.
I see your question in the chat, Rebecca. Can we get lists from the past? That's a great question. This is, I believe, I have your 2019 numbers from your actual table, but then when it went virtual, we've had a harder time tracking who invited who. But if you send me a guest list, I could go through and then figure out your total from anybody that you invited to make a gift last year. Okay.
2019 would be helpful because I might remember 2020.
Okay, I can send 2019 numbers.
Sorry, the names. The names of people.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing I do too with some of the people I know can make bigger gifts is I've got some numbers in mind for some people that for a number I'd like to see them do that's maybe more than they had thought about before. And I think you know them well enough. I don't think it's a bad idea to do a little bit of annual fund major gift work by asking someone to say, could you do 5,000 this year to help us out with this 120, as opposed to just happy they're going to give you 1,000 like last year. I mean, there are people who would do that if we ask them. And I think that's part of when you have a real good connection with people, and especially if they've attended many years in a row.
Yeah,
they feel ownership, and I think it's fine to.
Absolutely, that's a great idea.
So don't be reticent about that if you think you have a connection in such a way that you can ask them to do more. Whatever that number is for them, it might be going from 100 to 300 for somebody, and from 1,000 to 5 for somebody else. But I mean, never helps us to raise people's sights, a little bit. And I'm excited. I think that's the reason the $120,000 goal is a reason to do that. You can tell them, this is a big jump for us. We're excited about it, and I want to make sure it happens. And so, we're doing this much. Could you do something extra too to get there, help us get there, to make sure we do it, because we want a lot of new people to learn about us, but we also want our longtime people to really and how excited would it be if we got 125 or something, so they can pump up about it. So.
And I've also been inviting some people. I've also been inviting some people at kind of the other end of the economic spectrum, who have been involved with Peace for many, many years and feel ownership in it. And even though, $25 may be a big donation for them, I think having them as part of the, as part of the party is important too.
That's
so
great.
I'll have some people who I know won't be able to be very big donors, but will be, I think, enjoy being involved.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's a great point. And that's where it comes back to our community, right? Different people in the
Mhm.
community have different capacity levels, or their involvement might look different, but that's why we all come together, and together we can reach our goal. Every gift matters, definitely. So I love that idea.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that wraps it up, and we have hit 5 o'clock, and I want to be mindful of your evenings. So just wanted to say thank you again for all of your help with this Learners to Leaders event. I really appreciate each one of you for hosting a party and for reaching out to your guests.
Yeah.
We don't take it lightly. This is seriously what makes Learners to Leaders successful, is your personal connections and your time. So yeah, thank you so much for helping us out and just being part of our work.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you all.
And if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to Paulette or myself or Denise. We will get your questions answered.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And your gifts then.
All right. Well, have a good evening, everybody. Thank you again.
Yes. Nice
Thank
meeting
you.
you all. Bye.